Hi guys, welcome to week 3. By now you should have a couple weeks under your belt and you should feel pretty comfortable. So if you don't feel like you know what you're doing in your English class, please come talk to me because I want you guys to know what you need to do and feel comfortable and get how this all works and all that. So please reach out if you're not feeling like that, okay? So in week 3, we are going to continue to work toward our end goal that we'll do next week, where we write an essay on what the definition of an American is. So we're going to write an essay next week defining what we think it is to be an American. So as we're doing these assignments, be thinking about what you think the definition of an American is, because you'll be writing an essay on it next week. All right. So first thing, in activity 1.6, we're going to remember how there's different ways to define something. So we've talked about defining with examples, with exemplification. This week we're going to talk about defining with classification. So that's telling me what class or what group something belongs in. You can define something by classification, and you can also define something by function. That's telling me what it does, okay? So you are going to pull up your Springboard Activity 1.6, and you are going to read what is an American. So read that, and I want you in this graphic organizer that I've got in your announcements to know all the times the author defines by classification what an American is, and then also all the times that the author defines by function what an American is. So I've got an example in the graphic organizer for you, but you still need to do 4 more on your own, okay? So after I read that, one of my examples, I pulled a text detail from the passage, and my example that showed classification of what an American is said, here individuals of all races are melted into one new race of men. So that's a class that we're in as Americans. That's a group we all fit in, and that's a text detail from the passage. Then for an example of function, so remember, a function is what an American does. A text detail I pulled says, the American is a new man who acts upon new principles. He must therefore entertain new ideas and form new opinions. So as you read, be pulling text details that show what an American is by class and what an American is by function. All right? Then you're going to do a writing prompt. So this is going to be a well-developed essay. It's actually a summary. So after reading that article, you are going to write a summary for me of what his definition, what Crevecoeur's definition of an American is. Now remember, a summary is the author's words, okay? So you're not going to put any of your own thoughts or commentary in this, just what the author says, what his definition of America is. So I want this to be 7 to 9 sentences. You're going to have a topic sentence where you basically state what his idea of an American is, and then you're going to pull text details and other examples from his passage about what an American is. All right? The commentary should be Crevecoeur's thoughts, not your own thoughts, because it's a summary, which is different than what we're typically doing. So keep that in mind. Summary. Also on 1.6, your Springboard Activity 1.6, it talks about using quotations. We've been using quotations a lot. You have to cite text evidence a lot in English classes. So you need to know how to quote stuff, right? So there's no assignment on this. It's just purely to teach you and for informational purposes so you can put it into your writing later. The biggest thing, and I underlined it in the announcements, is when you have periods or commas, your quotes go on the outside or outside of those periods and commas. The quotes enclose the periods and commas. But if you have semicolons or colons, those go outside the quotes. Kind of just something to remember, all right? There's also different ways to cite somebody else's words. So it's got 3 different ways. You can summarize what somebody has to say. That means you just get their main ideas. You're not citing word for word. You're just giving a big main idea what they're saying. There's paraphrasing, where you take like a chunk of something that they said and you put it in your own words. So here you're getting a little bit more specific, but it's still not word for word what they said. That's a quotation where you actually have to use those quotes. So if you summarize, you don't have to use quote marks. If you paraphrase, you don't have to use quote marks, but you should cite it. You should say, Crevecoeur says da 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 da, even if it's not his exact words. If you're getting that information from him, give him credit. Quoting, you also have to give credit, and you're using quotes because it's word for word what they said. All right? So just some information for you. Next up is Springboard Activity 1.7. You are going to read Growing Up Asian and American. So in this passage, this girl talks about, she's American, but she has Asian ethnicity too. And I want you to pay attention to the structure of her writing. So this article that she writes, this essay that she has, it's written in different parts, and she writes it in different parts for a reason. So as you're reading it, think about why she's using those different parts. Why did she divide her essay up like that? All right. So you're going to read that, and you're going to have another writing assignment. So you just wrote a summary in 1.6. Now you're going to write more of a paragraph. So it says, consider the structure of Noda's essay. So think about how she wrote it, how she divided it up, and write an explanation on how the ending is an effective way to bring closure to her idea. So pay particular attention to the ending. Why did she end it like that? How does it make her conclusion or make her end of her essay better? How does it bring home her point? So in order to do this, you need to explain how the structure fits the essay, why she did it, why that makes sense to write it like that. Why did she divide it into parts? Make sure you include quotes, and then you can also paraphrase, just like we did, but if you quote word for word, use your quotes and punctuate those correctly. So pick a passage, pick a quote that she said, and then I want your commentary. So in the last assignment we were summarizing, so it was more Crevecore's, the author's commentary. This time it's from you, from your head. You tell me why that quote was significant. Why did you pick that quote? How did it bring home her points? How did it amplify what she was trying to say? Why was it significant? Those are your thoughts, all right? So I would pick at least, it says 7 to 9 sentences, so I would have a topic sentence. I would have a quote, then support that quote with some commentary, then pick another quote from probably the ending of her essay, and then some more of your own commentary, and then wrap it all up with a conclusion, all right? All right, now we're going to talk pictures. So in Activity 1.8, you're going to have to research a picture that's iconic for America. And remember, next week when you do your embedded assessment, you can use a picture as part of your definition of what it means to be American. So this is a good assignment to get you thinking about that. All right? So before we start with the pictures, I guess there's a poem. I should have did this. But anyway, it talks about imagery. So authors create images with their words, right? So read the poem, Let America Be America Again. And there's a couple questions there for you to answer. What was the most powerful part of this poem? What made it powerful to you? What is he trying to paint with this image? What's he trying to convey with this image that he's creating for us? All right. Then you're going to look at a picture. You've probably seen this picture. It's the soldiers after the war. They're all raising an American flag. So there's a group of soldiers all raising an American flag. So look on Activity 1.8. Look at that picture. Really look at it. Spend some time studying it. And then you're going to answer these questions. Explain the strong emotional response that the image activates. What makes this an iconic American image? How is this American? How does this show who we are as Americans? And then number 5, this is just kind of to get you thinking about next week. Be thinking about what your definition of what it means to be an American is, and how does this picture shape that definition? Add to it, change it, shape your definition of what it means to be an American. All right? Now you get to find your own image. All right? So the internet is filled with images. So get on the internet. Don't go to Facebook. Don't Snapchat or Instagram or anything like that from your phone. Go find an iconic picture that represents what it means to be an American. All right? So you're going to find a picture. It doesn't need to be any like from CNN or from whatever. It's just a picture that you find. And you're going to answer some questions with this picture. So it says here to put your image in there. So just copy and paste your image in this document or upload it onto where you can submit your answers on Blackboard. But somehow show me the picture, all right? I would just embed it in this document. Tell me when it was created. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of research. You can't just like pull Google Images. You're gonna have to actually like go to websites and see who took this picture, what's the caption beneath it, when was it created, and then you're gonna tell me why is it iconic? Why is it important? Why does it represent America? It says in the Springboard activities that we're going to present these. It says in the Springboard activities that there's different like group work and presentations. We can't do that on an online class, so make sure as always you're paying attention to what I have on the course announcements, or you're asking me questions if you get confused, so you guys know exactly what you need to do. So now you've got this image that you have researched on the internet, and you're going to write an essay with this image. An essay just from a picture, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Your essay doesn't necessarily need to be 1,000 words, but here's what you're going to do. You're going to write an essay telling me why this image is iconic, why it represents America. So I've got a little format that you can use here. Here are some important things you need in your essay. Your intro should be like 3 to 5 sentences. So you're introducing what you're going to talk about. Tell me, you know, why is it important to define what an American is? What does it mean to be an American? Kind of have like a hook or something to grab your reader in there. And then the most important sentence in your intro is your thesis, where you're going to tell me why that picture represents or defines America and what it means to be an American. So that's your intro. Then you're going to have 3 body paragraphs. Each of your 3 body paragraphs is going to pull a different detail from that picture. So in the first body paragraph, you're going to talk about one aspect of that picture and why that aspect contributes to what it means to be an American. Then in the second body paragraph, you're going to pick a second characteristic or detail from that picture and how that represents what it means to be an American. And then you're going to do the same thing for a third one. All right, so 3 body paragraphs. So pick 3 different things about your picture that define what it means to be American. 3 different things that are going on in your picture that support the definition of an American, that an American does. So remember how we define stuff. There's different ways to define stuff. You can use examples, you can use classification, you can use function. What are the people doing? What group do these people belong to? All that can be input into your essay, all right? But you need to, normally we quote text, and then we make comments on it. So you have your topic sentence, a quote, and then your own comments on it. In these body paragraphs, you'll have a topic sentence and then a detail from the picture. So you can't really quote a picture, right? But you can state a fact from the picture. You can state a detail that can be seen in the picture and then put your comments on that. Why comment on how that detail defines Americans. And then in your conclusion, I want you to reiterate why this photo is iconic, why it represents what an American is, and kind of wrap up the highlights of your essay. All right? So, as always, reach out to me if you need help, okay? So you have a full essay to write as well as a couple other paragraphs and some graphic organizers. You've got some work to do. So make sure you set aside to do this, and next week we'll be working on our embedded assessment, all right? So stay caught up, reach out if you need some help, and we'll see you next week, all right?